Hello everyone, my name is Praveen Anchal and I welcome you all in our YouTube channel of Brilliant Public School, and today we will discuss about history lesson number 2 class 10th, nationalism in India. So let's start this chapter. So first of all we will write the name of the chapter, that is class 10th. History lesson number 2, nationalism in India. Since this chapter we have already taught you in the class, so this is the revision lecture, so we will not go into that much detail, but I'll give you the complete overview of the chapter in this lecture. Fine. And while listening this chapter, while watching this chapter, if you find any problem, any sort of problem, you can comment below and let us know. We'll give you immediate reply. Okay. So this is what revision lecture is going on for your upcoming midterm examination, which will start from the 28th of September now. So for that it is revision lecture. Revision. Fine. So as we have seen this chapter completely already, so first of all let's draw the timeline, and through timeline only we will discuss this chapter. So here is our timeline we are drawing here. When you are learning history through timeline, it becomes very easy. So I always tell you all that please make one solid timeline through which everything will be very easy if you will make one strong solid timeline chart. Fine. So here we are making first of all the events what we will discuss here. So everyone, we will start from 1914, 1914, and we will go up to 1947, that is 1947, 1947. This is our beginning year, that is 1914. And that is our finishing year, that is 1947. So till here we have to discuss the events. Fine. Although some minor events which took place in the last of the 1947 is not that much given in detail in our NCERT book, but then also I'll try to tell you okay the basics about it. Fine. So let's start about it. So 1914, what is there? What has started here? First of all, we will write all the events, and then I'll explain you one by one. Fine. And I recommend you to open your notebook where you have made the notes, and if you find any extra points, any additional points, then you can make on it. And if any new student is there who is watching this for the first time, I recommend that student to make one very solid notes. Okay. So let's see here. This is World War I. First of all, let's write all the important years. 1914. Then the next very important year will be 1915. Then the next very important year will be 1916. Fine. After that we have 1917 to 18. Then the next year is 1919. Then after that we have 1920. Okay, 1920 to 22. This is the one time period. Then after that the next very important year is 1923 to 30, you can take. Fine. 1923 to 30. Fine. After that the next very important year is 1930 to 34, 1930 to 34. And then after that we have this year that you can take from 1935 to 47. So 1935 to 47 we will take it at last. Okay, whatever additional things has to place in this particular part we will see. So these many things we have to see. If you will make one very strong story in your memory now, then this chapter will become extremely easy. Extremely easy it will become. So let's start first of all here. Please write World War I. World War I started from here, as you all know. World War I. Let's see, before completion before I complete this particular timeline events, let's see how many of you will complete in your copy. So try to complete before I will complete. Okay, writing all the events here. So like I have written WW1, that is World War One. So similarly, you please write all the events before completing, before I will complete. Okay. So here 1915, as you all know, Gandhi ji came back in India. Gandhi returns. Gandhi ji returns. Okay. Then in 1916 we have Lucknow Pact. Pact, है ना? Pact means what? Agreement. Lucknow Pact. Then in 1917 to 18 we have Satyagraha. What we have? Satyagraha. Fine. After that in 1919 we have Rowlatt Act. What we have? Rowlatt Act. Okay. Then apart from Rowlatt Act, we also have a very unfortunate incident that is called as Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Jallianwala Bagh massacre, that we will see in this particular part only, that is 1919. After that in 1920 we will discuss the next very important part that will be known as non-cooperation movement. Very very important, non-cooperation movement. Okay, with non-cooperation movement now one more movement was there that was called as Khilafat movement. So I'll tell you Khilafat movement along the non-cooperation movement only, don't worry about that. Then 1923 to 30 now, after non-cooperation movement ended, so what episode, what events took place in this particular period that we will see. So here it is, this one is the period of civil disobedience movement, है ना? So please remember, civil disobedience movement has not started, within, after completing, non-cooperation movement. There is a certain gap between the non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement, as you can see. Fine. So that gap is about 8 years, as you can see, from 1923 to 30 years. It is about 8 years. So this 8-year gap is known as towards civil disobedience movement. What it is called? Towards civil disobedience movement. So please write here. Towards civil disobedience movement. And finally what is started? Civil disobedience movement is started. Okay. And finally, after this civil disobedience movement, whatever additional part will be there now, that we will discuss in this series. Like important episodes, you can see here that Government of India Act will be there. Okay, I am writing just here, Government of India Act. Then the next one will be Quit India Movement. Okay, Quit India Movement. Fine. Then similarly we have the partition and then independence. So this we will discuss. Although some additional events are also there that I'll tell you. Okay, so let's start this very interesting timeline one by one, and I guarantee you that you will definitely enjoy and you will learn this complete chapter very easily. So let's start this chapter first. So here beta, you see, when World War I started, you all know that World War I we have also seen in chapter number 1 of class 10th history, that is the rise of nationalism in Europe. So in that chapter also we have seen that is World War I. So why World War I started, I will not go into that, because you already know the Balkan region story, the tension in Balkan region you already know. So I will not go into that World War I. But remember, in this World War I, one country was there which was called as Britain. So Britain was participating in this World War I, and Britain was also ruling in India. So since Britain was ruling in India now, so they cannot fight with the stones and pebbles. So they need they needed weapons, they needed other resources for their army and all. Fine, they needed army also who can fight with the enemy countries. Okay, so for that purpose what they did, they started doing forceful recruitment. Okay, so here I am just writing all the important points here. So in this World War I, Britain was participating, as well as Britain was ruling in India. Fine. So Britain was in requirement of army as well as ammunition. Ammunition means weapons. Okay. So this army and weapons, to fulfill the requirement of army and weapons, now what they were doing, they were forcefully recruiting Indian people into the British army. That was not at all good, because somebody was very happy in doing farming, somebody was very happy in doing as a work of labor and a worker in the factory or anywhere else. So if you are forcefully recruiting somebody into the army, then it is not at all recommended. Okay, but on that time Britishers were doing it. So forceful recruitment of the Indian people into the British army was one of the biggest reason why Indians were not happy with the Britishers. Apart from that, during that time, the crop was not that much produced very nicely, and on that time there was a bad harvest. But these Britishers, instead of supporting to the Indian farmers, they started collecting more revenues. Why they were collecting more revenues? Because when they will collect more revenues, more taxes, then they will get more money. And if they will get more money, they can purchase or they can make more weapons. Okay, so for fulfillment of the requirement of army and weapons, they were exploiting the Indians, and that is why Indians were not happy with the Britishers at all. Fine. So I hope you can understand why this World War I is connected with the Indian struggle for independence. है ना? After that, the next very important episode is 1915, that is Gandhiji returns. Fine. So always remember, Gandhiji has returned from which country? Gandhiji has returned from South Africa. Fine. Gandhiji has returned from South Africa. And you all know South Africa case study is also there in class 9th, chapter number 2 or 3, that is constitutional design. So you all know about this. South Africa, known for their apartheid. Apartheid is a spatial discrimination on the basis of color of skin. So here, when Gandhiji went to South Africa, so he was also subjected to discrimination, and that is why to end that discrimination in South Africa, he did so many successful satyagrahas, and he was highly super popular before coming in India. Fine. So when he came in India, 1915. So when he came in India, before coming only he was so popular. Okay, why? Because he was very much successful in South Africa against this struggle against discrimination. So remember, he spent in South Africa how many years? 21 years. Remember now. So 21 years he spent in South Africa, and at the age of 46, he came in India. So this some important key points we should always remember, that how many years he spent in South Africa, what he was doing in South Africa, and how and when he came in India. So this we must remember. And one more thing you remember, everyone, the Gandhiji has completed his education life in London, graduation in London. Then he went to South Africa, and in South Africa he lived for almost 21 years, as you can see here. So when he came in India now, so India was very new country for him. Okay, so that is why suddenly within a moment he cannot start something. He needs to understand the political, social, cultural dimension of India. That is why he was traveling throughout India for almost 1 year, and after this complete 1 year, he realized that the real India lies in village. And the most important people who are suffering in India, the most biggest victim of the Britishers are the workers, tribal, peasants, farmers. These people are the biggest victim of the Britishers. That is why he take a resolution that now onwards, whatever thing he will do now, he will do for this people who are suffering a lot in India. Okay, so that is about Gandhiji. I have given short introduction about Gandhiji, how he came in India. I hope this is clear to all of you.